Man is in critical condition following a videotaped encounter with city police. But questions still remain about what happened in the moments after the arrest that put him in the hospital. WJZ is live outside City Police headquarters. Christy Aletto spoke with witnesses about the incident. Christy?
Well, Denise, witnesses describe the arrest as brutal. His family tells me Freddie Gray now has spinal injuries, but police say when they saw the video, there was no use of excessive force. Witnesses capture the final moments of an arrest that send this man to shock trauma.
At no time, and I've seen the video a number of times, did I see a use of force at that moment.
Baltimore police won't reveal the reason why bike cops stopped the fleeing individual that family members have now identified as Freddie Gray. But Gray's stepfather speaks to us by phone saying he's barely alive.
His face is swollen. He just looks really horrible. And like I said, he's in a induced coma at the moment. We're all praying.
So walk us through what you saw.
I seen the police, him handcuffed, him tased while he was handcuffed.
Police say right now there's no evidence Gray was tased. His godbrother just left the ICU and didn't want his face on camera.
I seen the police officer bending his leg, like to the point where it looked like he broke it.
Police say the video doesn't show officers using excessive force, but they do say that the suspect was brought here to Maryland shock trauma with injuries. So what happened from the time that he was arrested to the point that he was brought here to the hospital?
He was completely healthy, fine, being caught up besides, his leg, but it's nowhere near to how he's sitting in ICU right now.
A gap in time police are working to close, uncovering what happened in the moments that weren't recorded and how Gray ended up like this. Now, police say the officers that were involved are on administrative assignment. Denise, back to you.
All right, thank you, Christy. Now, anyone else who witnessed the arrest or has video is being asked to contact police.
This is my ultimate faith, whether I'm a good guy or a bad guy. This is my ultimate faith. We want justice, and they get no peace. All day, we gon' fight for Freddie Gray. All night, all day, we gon' fight for Freddie Gray. I'm fucking referee.
Bam. Preaching the words of Assalamu alaikum, which means peace and blessings be upon you. And I mention both Jesus and Muhammad's names. Peace be upon them both. They were both messages of truth and reality. You're looking at the Underground Railroad. We come on every Saturday night, 10:30 Central Time. I better say Central Time. And say hi to the people in America, Canada, Central America, Asia, Africa, the UK. And Asia, close, man.
Australia, you always forget that.
Australia. See, that man got my back. Well, I lost.
That was right off the coast of the land of Mu.
Yes, sir.
Which most people don't know nothing about.
Yes, sir.
It's sunk in the Pacific Ocean right now.
Yes, sir. And I have my co-host with me, former Alderman Jones and committeeman of Chicago. And I have Dr. Malik Kufiani. Speak on it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I have a representative of the Nation of Islam. And I want to say hi to Brother Benny Muhammad, Brother Khalil Muhammad, and Brother James Muhammad, who used to be the editor of the Final Call newspaper and the minister. And please, introduce yourselves. I just had to, because that's where I come from, man. Go ahead. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for having me here, brother. My name is Brother Wali Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
And I am a student of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
As taught by his lead minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Okay. And Dr. Malik, this is my mentor right here. This is a gentleman I used to call up late at night, bugging him. What do I do? What do I do? But give him the floor.
Well, thank you, brother. And I'm honored once again to be here with you and the Alderman Jones. Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. You my mentor. You and Dr. Boyce Yevels.
Well, I always have to emphasize, I was the first man of color that was an alderman and ward committeeman in Marquette Park.
I got to change it again.
The first.
Yes, sir.
And I created too many problems. That's what happens to us as a people.
Okay.
Any black man that's willing to stand up and fight, they either put him in prison or they kill him.
Character assassination.
It's going to be one or the other.
And I'm going to ask you, both of y'all, that it seems as though the wrong-minded Caucasians look at us as being animals, pull us over to the side of the road when the police just to check us out and plant things on us. Why are they anthrocentric? Why do they feel that we are beneath them and we basically are peaceful people? Why? What have we done that is so horrible? With what they feel that we must be mistreated, abused, and redlined, gerrymandered. Going to a bank, it's got the same credit rating, and they give them better interest rate. Why? What have we done? I want to ask both of y'all, what have we done?
Well,
and I say that with all due respect to the listening audience.
I would say, brother, that first of all, we're not beneath anybody.
Okay.
We are the original people.
Yes.
And every human being comes from the original man.
Yes.
Those Caucasians who feel that way are absent of knowledge. They should consult with the wise of their people to find out who their fathers are. Because their Bible tells them to honor your mother and your father, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord God giveth thee.
Yes.
Now, this mistreatment of us and this fear of us, during his historic Savior's Day message, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan taught us that his teacher, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, said that justice is the weapon that God would use in the day of judgment. Justice is what you put out,
you're gonna get back.
Is what you get back. See, if you have wronged no man, then you're not suffering from anxiety, which is anticipated fear, loss, or pain because of what you've done. So their fear is rooted in their knowledge that we have been mistreated as a people. And they know, and as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us of Thomas Jefferson. You know, he said he trembled in words when he think that God is just. See, justice is the weapon that God is using. So if you have mistreated me for 400 years, you know it's coming back. Wow. And this is what you're afraid of.
I got to steal Malcolm's words. It's a matter of chickens coming home to roost, but maybe I shouldn't have said that. But
well, I concur with I
and
think
Dr. Collip says something, but go ahead.
Right. I think that, you know, some people talk about the 12 tribes or whatever, and some of us talk about the 8 original ancestors. And I would say that without using the word racism, superiority, I would say that if you was in an all-black nation, so-called African country, you would find a lot of what we see here happening to us, the descendants of slaves, happening among them because of tribal differences, that goes back to the innate something or another that is interpreted as fear, interpreted as superiority, inferiority, whatever. And I think part of the nature of man, the nature of the beast that's in us, is something that we just have not spiritually dealt with. And until we go deeper than what we see as it relates to what we see in America, we're going to continue to be confused. I mean, what we are experiencing in America is probably because we are the most obvious targets. But if you was in Togo or Ghana or Nigeria or Benin or Senegal right now, you would find black folks being done by other tribal members as they're being done here. Vice versa with white folk. You go to Russia, you go to Ireland back in the day, those people was killing each other because they was Protestants or chocolates and boo, 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 boo.
Did that happen because their lands were colonized by an invader?
I think it's deeper than that.
Okay.
I think it's spiritual.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I lived in Ireland.
Yes, sir.
Not in the military. I lived in England.
Yes, sir.
I lived in Wales. I've been to Nigeria and I've been to Egypt. And I can tell you for a fact that freedom, peace, love, and justice are the things that must exist for all of this to end. And until we start practicing that, there will be no justice.
Yes.
All right?
And I want to ask you, they're setting us up, and I think it's devastating.
No, we're setting ourselves up, brother.
Okay. That you know what, that you can invest in something in the prison industrial complex on the stock market now. And there are people that are making millions. And they're using them as slave labor. And I guess that's the only way they can compete with China. Since they don't pay their workers that much. Why? You agree with that? Can y'all comment on the prison industrial complex?
There's a book, my brother. I'm going to let them go on that.
Okay.
There's a book they got out called The International Jew. Most folks ain't never heard of it.
By Henry Ford.
Huh?
By Henry Ford.
Henry Ford wrote the book.
The one that they made him recant.
They made him recant it, and they told him he better not ever write it again. Somebody else has got copies of it and produced it. But Henry Ford, in The International Jew, he said the only thing that happened is we came up north. He said we found a new way to practice slavery. We gave him some jobs in the auto plant up north, but they were still giving us all the money back. And then when you look around, it's still the same. Ain't nothing changed. Like I told you, it goes back to what I said. Everything starts out from economics. Economics. You got to have something that you manufacturing, making, building, or whatever, so that you can be. That's why they burned up Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Because they had become what?
Independent.
Economically independent.
Yes. Can I ask y'all, what is your comment on the prison industrial complex and its devastation?
Well, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us that his teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, said that America was a divine prison. The first prison inmates of America were the Indians, who rebelled against the law of God. The Caucasian came and they brought our fathers here. So this place, its very makeup is a prison. Okay? So,
yes, sir.
So when you say the prison industrial complex, knowing that the 13th Amendment justified you being made a slave again if you were a convicted felon.
Yeah.
So this system has always looked to benefit, financially speaking, economically speaking, off the labor of others. That's really what this is all about. However, God has come. And if we would just submit to God, then we don't have to worry about no prison. In fact about it, even if we in prison, we won't be serving time, time will be serving us. So we have to stop crying out for justice from others when every day Muslims say, surely I've been unjust to myself, and I do confess my faults. So grant me protection from my faults. For none grant protection from fault but thee. That's what we confess to the Creator. So the people who, I think that one of those stocks is CCR on the stock market. They make money, but you know what, brother? I'm going to be quiet. You also got people who make prostheses who are on the stock market, who are betting that our young brothers, because the hips of a man is not made to swivel, they're betting that because you wear your pants around your hips with your belt, that you're going to produce a problem with your hip, and by the time you're 30, you're going to need a prosthesis.
Wow.
So it ain't just the prison industrial complex, it's the whole of America that benefit off our ignorance and self-hatred. Don't just focus there.
Yes, sir.
A whole lot going on.
Yes, sir. You would have comment on that, Doc.
Well, I mean, sometimes the best comment is no comment. But I think I will comment on the last piece that Brother Minister mentioned. And I just wonder, I mean, when they get 31 and 32, and they got arthritis in the hips and the waist, and they private parts are all jacked off, are they going to blame the white man? Did the white man make them walk around for 30 years showing the crack of their behind? Did their mama allow it? Who made them do that? So the prison industrial complex is a thing that we contribute to. And the Europeans just figured out a way to let you speak that. But it's always been like that. Wow. We was brought here as prisoners. And we continue to be prisoners, and I don't want to say voluntarily, but some of what I see in the most recent stuff where we have this turmoil in the cities where black men and women are being killed by these young white boys and girls calling themselves police, that's feeding the prison industrial complex. Because the revolution might have been televised, but it wasn't the real revolution. But what I see happening in the streets is young people, like Panthers and others, that are still in prison from those activities. But yet, those that stayed out here have backslid, and those people that are still doing time for all of that Black Panther stuff and all of that other stuff the pioneers did, those people are still in prison. But now, you got young people out here that don't value none of that. So I think that like Brother Minister stated, it ain't so much necessarily about the prison industrial complex.
Yes, sir.
Because it is a reality, it is economics, and yeah, white folks getting paid, but they don't have to get paid off of all of us if some of us would just stop a little bit.
You got a question? Well, I got another. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say this. They know that we don't know what's really going on. And they made those institutions. I've been in one of those institutions. So I'm not talking about what I think. I'm talking about what I know. All right? There are some brilliant brothers in those institutions. Yes, sir. When I say brilliant, they are brilliant. When I was there, I learned a lot from them, all right? And many of them shouldn't even be in there, all right? But as one of them told me when I was in there, he said, brother, old man, he said, you see them trucks over there?
Yes, sir.
I said, yeah. He said, they make you think you in here for doing something wrong. He started laughing. He said, you see you ain't in here for doing nothing wrong now, don't you? They making money. Trucks wouldn't even be. We wouldn't even be in here if they wasn't making money. See them meat trucks? See them vegetable trucks? They making money. And I had a job. I could go in certain parts of the prison. I want to say this. I go in there one day and I'm looking at these boxes in the kitchen. And I see, return from the Soviet Socialist Republic. And that didn't even exist no more. I said, what's in them boxes, man? They said, that's some chicken they sent back from there. I said, some what? Some chicken. I said, but that box say, feed to the animals. What is that doing back here? He said, oh, that's got lettuce in it. We just take all the dead lettuce off the top and cut the good lettuce up. So you see, it's all about what?
Okay.
Money.
Oh, no doubt. But that's what, in God we trust. It's about guns, all and dope.
That's what G-O-D that they have. It's all capital letters, so that's an acronym. It ain't talking about the supreme being, else it would be spelled capital G, small o, small d. But they got all three capital letters. Guns, oil, and dope.
I want to ask something. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that one day for both of y'all, that jobs would not be pervasive like it is in the society what it was when y'all was in the workforce. Like the steel mill, I think y'all was one. And they have robots that are taking our place. Plus these robots, they are designed with artificial intelligence. So is it true white folks don't need us no more? And we still begging them to do something that we should be doing for ourselves. I say that with all due respect because there are some right-minded white folks out there.
Well, I think you know the answer to that question, bro.
I know the answer.
You know, Stevie Wonder can see that. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his minister have been warning us to do for ourselves for over 80 years. Yeah. And we have refused to do for ourselves. We want to continue becoming or being consumers. And we don't want to take land which will make us producers again. I want to make a quick point, then I'm going to be quiet. You know, most Negroes are always excited when they get a check. Okay. We say, man, I'm getting paid. Man, I'm getting paid. But brother, sister, you never thought about the check. The one getting paid is the consumer. You sign the back of the check. The one that's responsible for you getting the check is the one that signs on the front. He's called the producer. When are we going to evolve to stop wanting to get paid and start paying people? Then we become producers just opposed to being consumers.
Yeah. And what is y'all assessment of the robots that they're making? They're robots that look like human beings now that have artificial intelligence to take people's places at the workplace where they don't have to worry about no sick days, no vacation days, no holidays, no talking back. What do y'all think about that?
I think it's good business sense. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they did a little thing the other day, and they were saying that a lot of these millennium white people have no so-called religious belief, and that's because this artificial intelligence called telephone, now finna be watched, has become the god of today. The technology, the science has sort of like blurred out the spirit. So I think what's going to happen is that we will find that humans will become the feed, the food for the technology. But when they get through raising them prices up on those watches, you pay $1,000 for a telephone, but you can't pay the bill. When they get through squeezing these poor-colored, ignorant people, then the machine will indeed be God.
There's with the stars.
The machine will be God because we have failed for the okie-doke. And like Brother Muhammad said, you have to do for yourself.
You would have comment on the artificial intelligence of the robots.
No, I mean, you say artificial intelligence of the robot. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his ministers say that we use less than 1/10 of 1% of our brain power. So if you want to look at a machine and say that's artificial intelligence, I say look in the mirror. I tell you that's artificial intelligence. Since you're not using the brain, he said that we have 14 billion brain cells producing thought at the average rate of speed of 24 billion miles a second. What are you doing? He said that you have blood that pumps from your heart to your head, to your heel, and back to your heart 8 minutes and 20 seconds. The same exact amount of time it takes sunlight to leave the sun and strike the Earth's equator, making it move in space at 1,037 and a third miles per hour. The Earth weighs 6 sextillion tons. That's a 6 with 21 zeros. So what's artificial intelligence? If you're not using your brain power, that's artificial intelligence.
We got 3.
There was a continent.
We got 3 minutes left.
There was a continent that existed in the Pacific Ocean over 76,000 years ago called the land of Mu. There was no sun then. There was no moon. The only thing you could see was the stars and the other galaxies. And they made light from thought. And the people who were there looked like you and all of us sitting here. They made music from thought.
Wow, man.
And no one knows about that. And I say this here and I'm going to shut up. This country, the first president, was a man named John Hanson, who was dark as iron, under the Articles of Confederation. So we were the founders and the sovereign owners of this country too.
I got to give you know what, and thank y'all for coming on Underground Railroad. Give y'all finishing comments. We have 2 minutes left, and assalamu alaikum to everyone.
Well, thank you, brother, for allowing me.
Oh, y'all, hope y'all come back.
The privilege of being on your show.
Praise, you know.
And I pray that God would help our people to recognize the time and what must be done. Justice or else is the theme for the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. Justice or else.
What date is the
But are you prepared for the or else? October 10th in Washington, D.C., sir.
Okay. Do you have any finishing comments you would like to relate to the audience?
Well, I would just go back to your artificial intelligence. I think that the whole operating principle of Negroes is artificial intelligence. Without the knowledge of self and the knowledge of a spiritual entity greater than yourself, you will never have the peace and justice you say you want.
Yes, sir. Do you have any finishing comments, officer?
Well, I've said what I had to say. We are people that don't understand that there's somebody bigger than you or I.
And I want to tell everybody to watch Mystic Vibes. And you know what, check your local listing, because me and her made a swap off, and we signed the agreement not in blood like the Illuminati, out of friendship and love. It's brothers and sisters. Watch Mystic Vibes. It's called You Came Out. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. And this will be on YouTube, and you can see these gentlemen on YouTube 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And go to the Nation of Islam at
7351 South Stony Island. Every Sunday meetings start at 10 a.m. sharp.
Yeah. And look at Speak on it.
Yes, sir.
Y'all come on. They just got to check the local listings and listen to the Booty Butt Naked Truth. Because you know what? That's a good show. You know, me and the Alderman can go on the show, but you know what? We gonna abuse that. You know, Hide the Hair, Red, Boys, and everybody. You know, so coming with truth.